I have to tell you something. I am not a good person. Most of the things I do are pretty selfish. Like one time, I was in high school heating up this really good brownie in the microwave, because who doesn't love a warm brownie, right? The microwave beeps, and by this time, the whole kitchen just smells like rich, rich chocolate. I take the brownie out, and it's looking really good to me. It's moist, rich, decadent, and hot enough so that the chocolate chips are kind of melting. But unfortunately, I am not the only brownie fanatic in my family. I hear my little brother, Jamel, quickly open his bedroom door. His footsteps are loud and swift on the wooden floor. I know for a fact that he smells my brownie, and simply put, I am not willing to share. You don't know Jamel. He will inhale that brownie. So before he reaches me, I open the pantry and put the brownie on the highest shelf. Jamel's around 8 at this time, so he can't possibly reach it. So he walks in the kitchen, he's sniffing around like a bloodhound, and then he says, "Ate," which means big sister in my language. "Do you have chocolate?" By this time I had my phone out, pretending like I was texting, and I shrugged, "No, I wish." And then I waited for him to leave. So yeah, being a good person has never been instinctual for me. But you know what is? Looking out for myself. See, I came to the US from the Philippines when I was around 7 years old. And after 15 years in America, I learned to only focus on myself. The music, TV shows, and lessons from school all taught me individualism. And it's so different from Filipino culture and how my parents and my older brothers were raised. In the Philippines, it was all about the collective whole. The goal was to provide for your family. The dream was to better everyone. In the US, we seem to only focus on bettering the self, and only the self. And that's kind of been our end goal, the one thing we spend our whole lives working for, prosperity for the self. Isn't that what the American dream is all about? Even in mainstream music, the songs that are getting popular are all talking about the self. Statistically speaking, songs released in recent years have more words with me and I in it than ever before, according to Dr. Nathan DeWall, a psychology professor from the University of Kentucky. Basically, he analyzed the increasing narcissism between modern popular songs and songs from the 70s. In fact, in this exact month, in 1985, the #1 song on the Billboard Top 100 was "We Are the World." "We Are the World" was a song, a collaboration of artists sang together in efforts to raise money for charity. What's one of the more popular songs of today? All I can think of is "Starboy," a song that flaunts self-centered success, a norm for pop culture nowadays. It seems as though mainstream music has gotten real individualistic, but as is general society. It seems as though we can't do anything unless we get something out of it. Like when I'm driving on the freeway and the slow car ahead of me goes on my lane, why should I let them get in front of me? What's in it for me? Like sharing the brownie with Jamel, what's in it for me? Especially as a 22-year-old millennial, the biggest question is, what is in it for me? We have this huge reputation for being the most self-centered generation, and it's not the most flattering. But like I already said, I am not a good person. So let's take the regular average person and their lifespan. Since we are on the topic of individualism, let's measure how much time we spend on the self. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, on average, we live up to the age of 80. Already, we spend 33% of our lives sleeping. That's selfish. You can't help it, and you need to sleep, but still, it only directly benefits yourself. Then we take 5% out for eating, another 5% out for driving. We spend around 13% worth of our lives working, assuming you work full time. Already, we're less than half than what we started with. Now, all we deducted was the mandatory selfish things we do every day. But when you take into consideration all our hobbies, all the times you binge watch on Netflix or scroll aimlessly down Facebook, think about how much time you just invested in yourself. Where did all that time go? See, most people would invest in themselves. But the thing with investing in yourself is that you don't really see it grow. Okay, I have nice clothes. Now what? Okay, I have my degree. Now what? Okay, I have a bunch of money in the bank, a new car, a house. Now what? All of a sudden, we've reached the end of our lives. We're down to our last percent. We finally stop focusing on ourselves, lift our chin, look to the people around us, and realize we lived through all those years. We spent all that money, and now we have nothing to show for. Just material things that don't even make you happy. Living a life that only focuses on yourself is probably the worst investment, which is a difficult thing for an individualist like me to come to terms with. You spend so much of your life trying to get more, and you end up just getting less. What's the best investment? Altruism, giving to others, even if you are an individualist. See, you don't have to be a good person to know that helping others has more of an impact than if you only help yourself. When you dedicate your whole life achieving things for your own betterment, that investment ends with you. But when you extend your philanthropy, it continues in the lives of others. One day out of your busy life helping someone else can mean more to them than you can ever imagine. So why don't we do it? Why don't we continually give to other people? Well, there are a few psychological and sociological factors that get in the way. There's this concept by Renee Grinnell called just world theory. Just world theory is basically the belief that everything that happens to someone is deserved. Why should I give to the homeless? If they worked harder in life, they wouldn't be in that situation. Why should I volunteer at a women's shelter? If they were in an abusive relationship, why didn't they just leave? It's these subconscious excuses that we make in order for us not to help other people. It's a lot easier for us to blame the person who is suffering in order for us to comfortably do nothing. And we ignore the systemic problems associated to these situations. Like for homelessness, we ignore the statistics. According to the National Coalition for the Homeless, 20 to 25% of the American homeless population suffer from some form of severe mental illness. So maybe, just maybe, people don't deserve what happens to them. People are lucky or unlucky. Because when you really think about it, people are just equals. We're just put in unequal circumstances. And that's why it's so important to help other people, because it can easily be you who's homeless, who's abused, or in other unfortunate circumstances. We're just lucky that we weren't put in those situations. We need to give up that sense of entitlement as if everything good that happens to us is deserved. Give up that sense that we don't have a duty to help others. It's our responsibility to recognize that we are all equals and that we have to lift others up who are in difficult situations. And it's not always going to be fun. Like, I would much rather sleep in on a Sunday morning than to volunteer at a homeless shelter. I'd much rather treat myself out to a shopping spree than to donate. And I admit, I don't always feel like doing community service. But that's the thing. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Whether you're entitled or not, collectivist or individualist, it's not about whether you're a good person or not. It's whether you take action that's for the good. Back to the brownie story. So Jamal is checking everywhere. He's checking the microwave, all the shelves that he can reach, but he finds nothing. Success. I can finally eat my brownie in peace. So he walks away, and I'm watching him walk away, but I knew I had to do the right thing. So I sigh, okay, we can half the brownie. But unfortunately, Jamal and I have very different definitions of what half is, because he ate almost all of it. But I knew it was the right thing to do, even though I didn't technically feel like doing it. But you don't have to feel like doing something in order to take action. I don't feel like volunteering all the time or donating. I don't feel like letting the red Prius on the 405 freeway get in my lane, but I do it. See, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about what's in it for me. It's what's in it for us. It's what's in it for the people on Skid Row who are homeless, who need food and shelter. It's what's in it for the mentally ill who need support and not hateful ignorance. It's what's in it for the cancer patients who need treatment. There is absolutely no difference between you and the people who need your help. And whether you're a good person, a bad person, a collectivist, an individualist, we need to help each other out. We need to realize that we won't get anything done if we only focus on ourselves while we let other people struggle. So let me challenge you on a little something. Invest in something other than yourself. Go on Facebook tonight, and instead of just sharing that said article about homelessness or domestic abuse, go research how you can help. Invest one day every month in charity. Even if it's out of character or if community service isn't your thing, go out and take action. And you'll be surprised what a difference you'll make. You'll feed the hungry. You'll make people who feel oppressed feel like a human again. You'll brighten days. You'll make a real positive difference. And who knows? You might even become a good person. Thank you.